Assalamu alaikum to the Apps media and the wonderful viewers out there. Here, my name is Essa Bobb, commonly known as Abu Hamza, the founder of Abu Hamza Farms, the CEO. We Abu Hamza Farms, we do poultry farming, we do ruminant farming, horticulture, we do food processing, we do manure on organic compost, we do biogas, we do food fabrication for animal fooders, and everything that has to do with agriculture. We're here today on the program in depth. Want to buttress on the topic young entrepreneurs and poultry farming in Gambia, which is a very vast topic that we are given a very limited time to cover some important key points, and the time is only 1 hour. So we thank you once again, the Apps media, for giving us this opportunity to come to talk to the general public about our experience and what we encounter as young poultry technicians in the country and beyond. Alhamdulillah, we've done all this training, basically not to a higher level, but to what we can know where to start and where to head to. We did a program, an intensive program on integrated farming last year. It was a 1-year program that equipped us with this information that we're going to share with the general public. And as for myself, here we said, are we going to talk to the youth on entrepreneurship and about poultry farming. Before we portray on that, I would like to share 1 or 2 things that drives me to where I am today. I would like to say to the youth that seeing a successful person does not necessarily mean you have to be rich before you're successful. Does not necessarily mean you have to be exposed before you're rich, before you're successful. Of course, these are part of the means to success, but there is a foundation, a basic foundation level where you should start with by disciplining yourself and be tolerant with your guidance to be disciplined on the right track so that you can be something in the future. I am talking to you today. I had a long way before getting to you here today. I was a teenager, a toddler, and always have the mindset of the people out there that, you have to travel, you have to do this, you have to do that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't add up much. One thing I would like to share with you is take information from your guardians, moreover your parents, if they are alive. Take their guidance and take their rules, because that's going to build you as a person in the future, and it's going to discipline you to be a person of rules and regulations. My mom is the one who inspired me to be who I am today, alhamdulillah, by the name Janke Dabo. He have done a lot to make so we are bright in the midst of our fellows, and we achieve our goals. I lost my dad when I was 7 years old, and my mom was struggling as a single parent, but he always went to put me through. My mom keeps saying every single day, there's a statement that my mom will give me before going out to work. The reason why I want to share this is for you to understand that it's not just a daybreak happening. takes a process before you get to your goals. My mom will every day say these statements to me, and she will always be telling me before going to work, you know what you're supposed to do. That's the first statement, and I will say yes. And then she will say to me, don't steal, don't say any foul words or lies, and don't fight. These are the common words that my mom will always teach me when I was a toddler. The words that she first used saying, do you know what you're supposed to do? These are few routine things that I used to be doing every day, constantly at home during my primary level. And one of these is I used to go and fetch water every day from a distance situated from my home, 500 to 400 meters away from my home. I will carry buckets, carry container to go and fetch water for my mom, and I'll be doing this every day. And the next thing that she told me that do you know what you're supposed to do is every day I will have to cook rice. My mom will cook a soup before going to work, and she trained me how to cook rice when I was at grade 4. Primary school, grade 4, I knew how to cook rice. So she will every day tell me, you know what you're supposed to do. These are mostly these two things. I do more than these two things, but the daily routines are these two things. Some of those are weekly, that is laundering, ironing, and stuff like that. I used to do it. But there is one common word that my mom will always tell me that, you know, your father, he said this in our local language, I will say it and repeat it. He said, sa papa, yola baye sarakai. This more word is a word of motivation. At that age, when I was just at the primary level, my mom will keep repeating this statement, even though I have one elderly sister, but with all that, she will consider all of them to be my young offsprings, my young siblings. She will say, your father leave the responsibility or entrusted the responsibility of your siblings on your shoulders. So, brothers and sisters out there, it takes a long time before you could get to a destination, but you need to regulate yourself with discipline, number one. And we're talking about poultry here. I will start my poultry achievements or my poultry experience started during that time when I was at the primary level still. I used to have doves. In my poultry. I used to have doves. These are local doves that I used to rear, and most of the community brothers around me built friendship with me due to those doves, and I used to sell them. That's my first poultry experience. Remember, when we say poultry, it's the rearing of birds. The birds that we have, domesticated birds. This include doves, chickens, Guinean fowls, ostriches, you name them. These are all family of poultry management. So I used to start with that. But it took me a short time because I was preparing for an exam year that was the grade 6. And my mom discouraged me not to engage too much on that because I'm preparing for exam. So just to cut the long story short, to say the drive was very long to where I am today, but this is where it started. And I believe I have some little achievement because of the home discipline, the homeschooling that I was willing to take on daily basis. So I'm going to give this as a light to you. Don't just make it a magic, expecting it to change without you doing any effort to discipline your soul. You have to discipline your soul, number one, to be able to be something in the future. Without soul discipline, self-discipline, you cannot earn nothing. Or even if you earn anything, you cannot expose it or share it properly with the necessary people that have to be there. Thank you once again. I would like to give the baton to my colleague, Modou Gaye, a young poultry farmer of Gambia. um, a very hardworking young person and who have the passion of farming, especially poultry farming. He knows the four corner angles of poultry technicalities. So we want to give him the baton to make sure he introduces himself and say a little about his work.
Assalamualaikum wa Apr Media. Ya, ñu ngi leen jërëjëf amba si seen liggéey bu baax bi nii. maa ngi tudd amba Modou Gaye. Ya, di yëngu si wàllum poultry. Ante poultry leen bi mu ngi tudd ASC Enterprise Poultry. Ya, dina nekk si wàllum poultry bi. And then it's a long story like about because pour ñu am leen because dafa nekk loo xamante ne daal very good to talk ci media yi nii and then di wax loo xamante ne and then bi dafa njëriñ pharmacy and then dafa njëriñ képp koo xamante ne daal you just want to engage with the poultry and then yeah and then jël na ma for long journey bi because bala ma aga into the engage into farming into poultry because time more than def like after about poultry I was around 6 years old. Time was like a minor school. And then was very tough to me to engage into poultry because by the time more on the farming into farming. So my guy, they was like, no, it's just like a waste of time, this and this and this. By the time I go until I know that this thing is something you know that the farmer japale elect CBT the farmer japale. And then alhamdulillah, right now Mati and then you can see how much njëriñu la daal is better you did it at this time and then nekk na loo xamante ne daal it is very good dafa nekk loo xamante ne baax na trop ci country bi and then it is good because time moo la nekk noonu time moo nekk as a young around 6 years old mënoon naa dugg sa ko du noonu di def di loo xamante ne daal it's not correct but alhamdulillah the time I engage into poultry and then still now I'm just engaging Masikam about Yala it is very good for me and then anytime I just wake up I'm just praying to God to just multiply my dal mu yokal ma kom dal suma gom and everything lo xamantene dal Jesus be like that yeah famine dafa nekk lo xamantene dal everyone ñepp ci wara engage because dafa nekk lo xamantene dafa barke na and then look nekk loo xamante ne daal it's something you know that you're going to school and still and ñëw di woo foofu noonu dafa nekk loo xamante ne c'est way of life la because toog di seetaan sa animal si toog di xoolaan gars yi it's something you know that is a life for you because moo nekk loo xamante ne daal famine because soo xoolee ne suñ this country bi right now fu nekk nii most of the people are engaged into farming but lack of making something like negative lack of finance money they were most of the people they want to engage into poultry because things are tough in our hand and then lack of finances definitely have some drop yeah definitely do la amon pour and then the name of the farm is AC Poultry Farm Enterprise yeah my number is 53803 and then 10. Yeah, if you want to contact us, you can contact us in that number.
Thank you once again, Modou. This is a very important information that the general public need to know. As a young poultry farmer in this country, you need to prepare yourself mentally, physically, financially. This is involved in poultry activities. So the constraints that we face as young farmers here are few things, not much, but it's a vast responsibility that goes directly first to the poultry technician and to the masses and to the government. Your responsibility as a poultry technician, you need to be equipped with capacity building. You need to be equipped with the information, the knowledge that will guide you on how to handle your poultry farm. You don't just need to jump into poultry farming with without the technical know-how, because it's so devastating. Spending hundreds of thousands or spending tens of thousands, and at the end of the day, you don't gain anything, is discouraging. So what will lead you to that is ignorance of what you're doing, sorry for that language, or not knowing exactly what you are up to. You need to have a target. You need to know what is my target? What market do I have to target? You don't just see people going for layers, you say, I will go for layers. You don't see people going for broilers, you say, I will go for broilers. You need to have a target for yourself. Know the environment you live and start from a low scale and then gradually developing yourself from what you think is important to develop in your farm as far as poultry farming is concerned. So today, poultry, for what we knew here, the native knowledge of poultry management system that we used to know in the Gambia is the extensive poultry management system, which is just having birds, what we call ganar. You just have them in your house, then leave them to go, maybe build a very small cage for them. In the evening, they will just come inside and rest. In the morning, you just open the door for them. They will go and roam about, do their feeding for themselves. They find their drinks. They find their medication for themselves. You don't need anything than their meat and the egg, but they do the whole effort for themselves. This is the type of poultry management system that was known in the Gambia before. Now, things are upgraded. There is more to poultry farming than just that method. There is a very fast growing method, and there are birds that you can rear within a short period of time, and it will give you a result. So this being the case, you have to divert to this to make so you're also to the market level, both internationally and locally. Yeah. This took a long journey. You cannot just achieve it one day, but it's gradual process. From day one, what you need, where do you need to start from, how do you need to start it, who are your consultants, who are your guides, do you need a coach to do what, and when do you need the coach? You need to know all this. You don't just jump into poultry farming because Essa is doing poultry farming. Essa is busy on and being successful in his poultry engagement, so you also want to take the same method. You might fail because you don't know whether the guy is equipped with the information or not. So if you're just in the field without getting the information, that's a failure. That's number one that you can help yourself with. When I say the information, is a broad information about poultry management. Remember, there are 3 different methods of poultry management. 3 different methods of poultry management, and the most common method is the deep litter system that we have in the Gambia commonly for those having their poultry houses. Yeah. And you have the battery cage management system and the free range management system. When you say the deep litter, this is where you have the whole poultry house and you put a bedding for your birds to be resting on. You either use a sawdust, a wood saving, groundnut peel, or whatever that can be used as a bedding for the birds to have a comfortable living and a suitable livelihood, because they are also living beings. They need to be comfortable so that you can benefit from them. If not, you will just have them for fundraising, because by the time they will be due for you to harvest them, you might miss all your birds. So this deep litter management system is the most common system because it's less expensive, but more labor. You need more effort, you need more time, you need more attention as far as you're doing a deep litter management system. Yes, the battery cage management system is the system that is the technology system wherein you have the birds in a small cage and you have an auto system of feeding and drinking. Then this method needs a huge amount to be able to do this management system of poultry. The last one, that's the free range management system. That is very common and less expensive, but involves a lot of risks. When you say the free range management system, it has semi free range management system and extensive. The semi is wherein you have 50%, you feed your birds 50%, and they will find their 50% by themselves. That's the semi. The extensive is wherein you open the gate for them, and they will be going outside, mingling with other birds of the neighborhood. Then those ones involve a lot of risks. So therefore, the best and the most suitable for a starter is the deep litter management system. This one needs finance. It needs technical know-how. It needs your poultry equipment to be intact. It needs biosecurity measures. And for you to achieve something from poultry, you need to be informed on what direction you need to start working on. Yeah. Somebody might be working on egg production, does not necessarily mean you also have to go for egg production. Somebody might be working on Brahman, doesn't necessarily mean you have to go for Brahman. But look to yourself, talk to yourself, look at the surrounding that you want to make your market on, and see what will be suitable for them and what would be reasonable for them. That's very important. But here, I'm still talking to the poultry technician, the one who want to hold the poultry. This information is going down to them. But I will not elaborate much because of the limitation of the time, but I'll skip to the role that the investors or the government hold to the young entrepreneurs. Definitely, we are struggling. We are struggling when it comes to feed production. We are really struggling when it comes to poultry feed production, because we can say 75 to 80% of the feed consumption, the food that we export it from abroad. And mostly, if those countries are on constraints, we will be at risk. Then our birds will not be fed. It happens during the COVID-19. Many poultry farmers cried because the sole suppliers hold what they have because they were not also having enough for themselves. Already people have already put the stock inside, but they don't have no feed for their birds. So we're urging to the government to help the young poultry farmers by providing factories that will manufacture the animal fooders. Factories, definitely we have few here, but I don't think that's sufficient. And the one and most important thing, we need laboratories to be able to test the fooders. It's not just having the composition of the raw materials, but it's very important to know if the food is qualified for your bird to consume or not. And that's only done by taking it to the lab. We don't have labs to do that work. So we urge the government to provide us with labs. And in fact, not only for the fooder, but when we do food processing, our products are not fit to the international market because we don't have labs wherein we test our products. So the government have something for the young entrepreneurs that are on food processing and poultry management. And any other animal husbandry, it needs these facilities to make sure the work is done on standard. So we're saying to the government, you're doing enough, you're doing a lot, but it's still not enough. Add up more capacity building centers, decentralize it. Don't just put it on one place like the one we have at Songhai, that the Upper Badibu. I passed through there, and I have the experience, a lot of my experience. I was doing my own thing before going there, but it made a big plus after going there. You can decentralize these institutions and make so the student, the youth are engaged into different sectors of farming. This is very important. It's very important for us, the youths, but it's more important to the nation, because without it, we will still be at health challenge. Without it, we will still be on food constraints. We are not food self-sufficient because we don't produce what we eat. We import everything. And most of the things we import are not the best from where we got it, because they won't harvest and give us the best. And moreover, you have to understand that there is an expiry duration for every product. Sometimes this poultry product, I will just emphasize on the poultry product. Like this egg importation, they call it imported egg, the legs, the chicken. We say thank you to the importers. Yes, you're making life easy for some people, but there is more important to that. Because if people are just eating to belly full without eating healthy food, they pay more expensive than buying the healthy food, because medication is expensive. That's not my field, that's the medical field, even though, but it's something that I'm involved in, and I want to bring a light to that so that the government can also help us. Tell the importers that we have local poultry farmers. Let the local poultry farmers have a federation wherein every local poultry farmer will register in. And on survey base, let every poultry farmer say what you produce and when do you have it, harvest it, so that we'll know the bulk amount of what we have as poultry farmers in the Gambia. And this will help the government to minimize and talk to the importers, tell them this is the amount we are allowing you to import, because we have local farmers, they're also doing their business, so it wouldn't be fair for you doing everything and they will be at loss. Of course, we used to be at loss when the imported egg is in. We don't have chance to sell ours. Definitely. We don't have the chance to sell ours. Imagine today, if you were to buy a feed from Senegal, and with all costs, it will cost you $2,350. If you were to buy it from the local producers, the minimum I know is $2,100. $100. So with this, you are expecting a return of at least 15% addition to your expenses, because you need a profit to pay yourself salary, to pay your workers, to do some other financial activities. So therefore, if the feed is expensive and you cannot sell at a price that you will have profit, then that's a big loss. So it discourages many poultry farmers who are engaged in egg production. Yeah, because what happens is, if the imported egg comes, we don't even have the chance to sell the corner shops, talk less of the restaurants, talk less of the caterers. You know, you name them. The hotels, mostly the hotels we consider the organic, the local one, but others will just consider, you know, the cheap. That's the quantity, not the quality. But talking of the quantity, you are also damaging some part, but the quantity is more important. So that's not my point. I'm not stopping the importers from stopping. I'm not saying the government to stop them, but let them make a balance. Let them work on making a balance. Let's do a survey, sort of, to know the local production, the quantity of the local production, and then we will know what is left to be satisfying the masses. Yeah, if not, we'll just be doing it for fun's sake, and at the end of the day, we'll discourage, and this is not the aim. This is not the aim of the government. Every government will be proud to see your youth doing their activities and working on themselves, working to develop themselves, to develop other people. That's the pride of every government. But if there is a way to block that achievement, I think the government should also stood firm to make sure that's not happening. And I go back to this is two information, one for the poultry technician, the other for the government, and here we're talking to the general mass. We need to be patriotic as Gambians. We need to help one another. Sometimes you will buy something that you don't need, but you need to help a friend. You need to help a neighbor. You need to help a brother. So for that sake, you buy something from him to make sure he also have his living or have his successful business. So most of the time, the poultry technicians will say, we are not going to buy the feed that is from the Gambia. Why? Because it's not tested. Of course, if you're rearing thousands of birds, you don't want to take those risks. Yes, that's a genuine reason. So you see the need again why you should provide us with labs, because this is the number one excuse that the local poultry technicians will give. Yes, I'm not making advert for any local producer, but I myself used to buy from them, and I know their products is superb compared to the ones that are imported. So therefore, the masses, those doing the local poultry management, make sure you have a good deal with the local fooder producers. Yes, buy from them, encourage them, tell them, give them feedbacks on their mistakes, what they need to upgrade on, and gradually we'll have the perfect feed. Because nobody just start and then start perfect. You learn by your mistakes. So let's encourage them, and then we have it more extended, more vast, so that it can satisfy the nation. And the farmers. Remember, poultry is a vast institution that can create employment for thousands of people, because its integration connection is very vast. If you're talking of poultry, you need the farmer who will farm and do corn cultivation, maize cultivation, groundnut cultivation, and you need the fish farmer. You need fish when doing your food fabrication for poultry. You need vegetables for those doing organic treatments. Yes. So therefore, it's interrelated. If the government will help, if we are not able to have all what we need from the raw materials that can help us fabricate our own food, if we're doing the importation of food raw materials, let the port consider, let the government subsidize some amount. That will also help to minimize the cost of the feed. Because you buying the tray of egg for $335 or for $350, you might just be thinking, okay, this is very expensive. But the poultry technician also is saying this is very small profit. Why? Because he's buying the feed for $2,400, $2,350 for the importation, for the imported, and for the local, $2,100. So imagine if you want to do that and do your poultry margin, the quantitative, you will see the difference is very small. So therefore, let the port also play their role, have the contact, let the government play their role with the ports, and try to subsidize the taxes on those raw materials that are needed to fabricate poultry and ruminant feeds. So these are few things that I think, due to the limitation of the time, I will pass the mic to my friend, Mr. Modou Gaye, and not forgetting to tell you that my farm is situated in Sintisuri, Abu Hamza Farms. We do a lot, and we say zero waste. We don't waste anything. We do organic farming. Even though we're not 100% organic, to be frank, we do some chemicals with our poultry, but we are trying to have 100% organic poultry farming. Inshallah, we'll get to that. We have our horticulture, which is 100% organic, and inshallah, we are benefiting and then benefiting others who are using our products. We do yogurt production, pepper, and whatever you think can be processed, because we deem it necessary to learn all these skills as far as we're venturing into farming. And I will give the mic to Mr. Modou Gaye to say something to the people listening and viewing us, to learn a little as a young poultry farmer. Seeing his age, he's very young, but he got the determination, he got the talent, and he got the passion to do this work. So lan nga am pour wax nit ñi nga xam ne tey ñu ngi wax ne dañ war a génn rek dem si backway bi pour ñu mun a succeed, wala dañ war a sàcca pour ñu mun a succeed. Break and enter bi mu ngi lumbe réew mi. Lan nga am pour wax ndaw yi tey si bunta boobu, te yow nga doon ndaw, ñu ñëpp ñu doon ndaw, yow nga nekk ci engagement boobu, keneen ak keneen war na ko mën a def, yow lan nga foog ne moom nga encourage youth?
lu la am like pour advert leen ndaw yi because of what? Because of lack of creating jobs in this country. Because so xoolee ne most of the youth yëpp gisoon ne ñu ne dem baab bi di génn fi di dem because of government need to help us to build many houses of the poultry. I have a big land to build it, and then know that they will be just creating and employing nga xamante ne youth yi yëpp dina mën a engage into that poultry farm boobu noonu bokk si di mën a njëriñ seen boppa nga xam ne kenn du génn fii nii dem xosuli si biti, wala nga ñëw sa dëkk fii nga xosule ko fii nga make ko fii nii. I think moo di bés génn di dem si biti foofu noonu, den loolu nekkul loo xam ne dafa war, because nga def ko si sa country nga amee ko fii nii make ko fii nii. I think is the best. Definitely used to you gain if you dem si biti neexul leen, definitely neexul leen. But su fi créé doon job fii nii ci biir country bi fii nii ñu am land boo xamante ne would be a big land boo xamante ne dafa nekk only poultry or sheep rearing, comme rearing sheep and other things. Youth, they will be engaged into it, because you don't have to be see those things and then you say that you will be go outside and go and hustle. Hustling outside dafa metti, definitely. Ñëpp fi sañoon daal bi ngeen a fii ne dañoo dem walk outside ci biti nga liggéeyal sa dëkk. I think it's the best. Nga investi ko fii nii is the best. We are urging the government, like government bi na gars yi try ñu yokk seen loxo, ñu yokk seen doole tuuti. Doon da gars yi ñu yokk seen doole de but dafa xala des tuuti, na gars yi yokk seen doole tuuti, ñu dimbale ndaw yi. Am na ne ëllëg si biti kenn moom teew bi ñu liggéey ko fii nii, méggee ko fii nii, nga xamante ne kenn du génn ci biti dañ leen def ko fii nii. Ndaw yi lu ma wax gars yi tamit di seen de job yi poultry dafa nekk loo xamante ne it is hard and it is not hard, because everything you have to do you have to love it. Nit ki loo war a def danga ko war a bëgga. dañ ne nekkul ne xaalis fu mu si rek nga ne bàyyi ma engagé léegi bàyyi ma dugal ci léegi téema rek non. jën yi boo gis rek balaa mu neex rek dafa fekk dafa naxadi ci gannaaw, dafa météo ci gannaaw balaa nga gis nit ki mu succeed. Many people are here soo leen laajee fan la gars yi jógee and then fan la gars yi léegi am léegi, because it's very hard. Alhamdulillah right now gars yi ñu ko enjoy because of what? Bu koy starté journée bi dafa métti trop. moo tax ne job bi poultry dafa nekk loo xamante ne daal everything yoo xamante ne it's not like neex na ma rek ma dem start tey ma ibi dem build benn houses ay house bu rëy ma start tey ma ne non léegi fii maybe wala few 2 months or 3 months dafa fekk ma commencé rek non. dafa nekk loo xamante ne daal you have to go and study it. Man toog nii di wax ak yéen nii right now nii I studied for more than 2 years. 2 years ma ko study and upper body bu fële na de ma ko study alhamdulillah and I finished my course. Yeah, loolu yëpp may thank to Allah. And then dafa nekk loo xamante ne daal ñun ndaw yi we have to engage it, although to just say that I have to go this, I have to go this, I have to go this, or they don't help me, they don't help me. You have to help yourself first. If you help your first, if you help yourself first, and then they see that you are just improving, all of they can come and help you. But if you don't help yourself and you're just sitting alone, you just tell that these people they need to help me, or my brother need to help me, and then they don't see any effort, they cannot help you there. Nit olof ñaar dafa wax ne mu ne daal su nimbali borom balaa mu laa fekk si te fekk yow sa nimba mu nekk ci sa nimba mu nekk ci fas yaa ndax yaa nimbal fekk ci loxo borom yaa definitely use ci daal lu ma am pour wax leen daal moo nekk ne daal ñu génn si ñu engage into farming do farming is something you know that moo dee yóbbu réew kanam moo dee yóbbu réew kanam food si ñoo jël di import nii loolu comme di ko sama boss waxee nii food si lu ñoo jël di import nii di ko génne from outside di ko andi suñu country bi dafa nekk loo xamante ne daal dañ ko war a xara stop tuuti at least suñu stop maybe for 25% fii ñu am fii maybe 75% will be very good for us because of doo mën a make sa production ci already nga make ko ñor nañ ba pare léegi nga war koo génne and then you don't have comme marketing bi amuloo ko ci boppam dafa ëpp la ka métti right now fu mu nekk nii da nga mën a rearing sa aliment already like bu demee comme sa doole ci chicken ci nga rear ko already and then marketing bi start na pour war a market and then you don't have the marketing and then it's very difficult and then dafa ëpp la ka métti because doo mën a keep guys for long and then you don't feed them they are animal if you don't feed them they will die you must go and buy feed and then feed ci yooyu jënd ci biti doo government bi suñu mënoon help ñu bilal ñu manufacturing feed ci nii compagnie ci feed ci nii ñu bilal ñu ko into ci country bi fii nii wallahi la ñu képp génn mu ne faa Sénégal mu ne faa uti feed foofu noonu oo dem uti chicks foofu noonu although ñu bilal ñu fii nii hatchery bi hatchery boo xamante ne dina mën a jël foofu amount of chicks yi eggs yi nii nga xamante ne fii leen koo tojee fii leen koo amee kenn du sofa dem génn nga daan si biti nga jëlee ko foofu noonu jëlee chicks outside it's a risk fii bu doon nooy ku ko méngee fii nii nga jëlee ko fii nii it's better for you nga génn fi dem ba Sénégal oo dem ba Holland nga ne da nga ko uti foofu noonu because of transporting of it yu bëri mën ne faa dee and then that is a losses for you doo sa gars yi ñu ngi koo méeg fii nii sa moromi femme mu ngi koo méeg fii nii nga ne noonu doo jëla fii nii yow nga ne outside nga ko dem jëlee loolu baaxul dañ ne nga jëlee ko fii nii nga méegee ko fii nii moom su ñëwee gis ko ne comme den kii ci tamit lu mel nii they are good and then lu ma si am maybe 2 mortality la am or 1 mortality la am that is better than nga génne ko fii dem yóbbu ko ba Sénégal génne ko foofu andi ko fii nii nga am big amount of mortality like bu demee ay 10 mortality 20 mortality that is a big losses for you maa ngi oo juuti dem na gars yi génna ñu jàppalante ñu def ko one shot for us and then government bi moom tamit ñu jàppale ñu tamit ñoom ñoo amee di power ñoom tamit gars yi génna gars yi jàppale ñu den suite gars yi jàppale te ñoom tamit nag things will be getting into fu moo mun a àgga nag wusu doon know but let them come and help us and then ñu mun a yóbbu farm bi si kanam yóbbu poultry unit bi si kanam dana ku nekk dina si mën a gis boppam and then business boo xamante ne yaa ngi ko def nekkul di gis sa boppam and it's very difficult we are urging the government let them come and support us and then just making things easy for us and then stopping maybe the chicken but bu guys stop like everything na guys stop maybe for some like alhamdulillah thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Modou. That's a very important lesson for the youths to learn. Yeah, as far as poultry farmers, we need to give light to the constraints and the difficulties we face. We're not trying to criticize anything that anybody is doing, but as youths of this country, and we see Gambia as our darling homeland. Even if we're going outside to do something somewhere else, we're coming back to make sure we filter the benefit to our people and give whatever we had to make sure we have a better nation. So to get to that, it needs helping hands. As I'm talking to you, we are struggling a lot. The information is there, we're equipped with the information, but the financial strength is very, very weak. As we are talking, we are not using our own space wherein we're doing our poultry farming. We're using somebody's space. That's where we do our poultry farming because we don't have ours as for now. So far, so good. Alhamdulillah. We every day have the hope that better must come one day. There are a lot of doors that we can knock to, but Alhamdulillah, we are guided to with not only farming or whatever, but we have the little consciousness of what is good for our religion as far as our culture. There are some doors that we can knock, but we don't want to take a loan that will hang our neck on interest rate. So this is why we don't want to knock those doors. We're calling the investors, we're calling the government to still add up to what they've already done and to make sure we have a better youth. We do poultry training service and horticulture, all those lists we give it initially, we give training to all those things. We do all those activities. And Alhamdulillah, we've worked with COP Africa during their last cohort, the 2024 cohort. For those around the CRR, they knew me, and I've trained some of their community ladies on poultry management. And Alhamdulillah, we have feedbacks, and we have some very positive feedbacks. We give supplies to chicks. We supply chicks, and we supply eggs, and all poultry products. Yes. So therefore, we urge the government to give a helping hand to the youth of this country. Let them support the people that have the capacity and that have the information to be able to help other people. I have a lot of programs in mind, but you cannot do it without finance. Seeing the list of programs I have, I'll pick one. That's these boarding schools, mostly the Islamic boarding schools, which are so neglected in this country. I have a program for them, but it needs finance. We want to be having gardens, and we call it a physical exercise with the Islamic boarding schools to make sure they will also eat food with good nutrients. Imagine people living at home eating good food, somebody reading the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not eating good food. So I think somebody should think about that and see how to remedy that situation. So that's are important things that really, if we have a help from the government, we will move forward. If we have help from investors that will not hang our neck on interest base, then we will really appreciate that. And we will open our arms to make sure we welcome everybody. So we're saying thanks once again to Apps Media and the staff and the facilitator of this program and my partner, that's Modou Gaye, a very brilliant young Gambian entrepreneur. We're saying thank you so much and wish you all the best.